This is my grandmother again, and we're here to do interview number 3. If you hear anything in the background, it's just my son. We didn't have a babysitter today. So we're going to just go over some history of some pictures to talk about. So what's the first one you've got?
Okay, well, we might discuss some of this. Okay, this picture is of my granddaddy, J.D. Coffey, and he was a plumber in Tuckerman. That's a picture of me with him, and I guess I was probably around 6 years old. And my granddaddy was a master plumber, and he worked all over Jackson County, you might say, even though we lived there in Tuckerman.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of times when Granddaddy would go work on a house, I'd go along with him, and I've crawled under houses just like he would. If anybody had a frozen pipes where they had bursted and he had to weld them and all,
Mm-hmm.
I was right under there with him. If I had to help him dig a ditch, I dug a ditch for him. So there's a lot of good memories when I remember my granddaddy. He was always really good to me. And we lived with my granddaddy and grandmother when I was little. My dad was always in the Air Force and he was gone, so we stayed with them while he was gone. And then later on they divorced, and I grew up with my granddaddy and my grandmother, and I've got a lot of fond memories of them. But my granddaddy was something else. I mean, he was a good granddaddy. He just treated me like a daddy whenever he went anywhere. I went with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a picture of his old plumbing truck, and I guess that's probably back in the, well, I was born in 45, so that's probably a vehicle made back in the 40s sometime. It was a panel truck. Yeah. A panel truck with the
And now those are probably worth some money.
Oh, I bet they would be. I wish I could find that old panel truck. Wouldn't that be something
Yeah, that
to
would be
restore
definitely if it
that?
all still had the paint and stuff on it like that.
To restore that back, because it had so many memories and stuff and all. And I think that building in the background, I think that was the Assembly of God Church that was sort of in the backyard of where my grandmother and grandfather lived.
Well, that's
and
cool.
that old church is still standing.
Well,
Of course, the house where my grandmother and grandfather built, they tore it down because it just got in bad shape after my grandmother had to go into the nursing home.
Didn't you say that one of your friends bought that land and built there? Is that the same place in the last video?
No, I think that, I don't know, that might be a different place.
Okay.
I'm not sure, Madison. I can't remember. That's part of my memory deal, I guess. But anyway, like I said, my grandmother was 100 years old when she died. So, and Granddad he's late 70s when he died.
Yeah.
And in this picture, okay, this is my Uncle Sonny, and this is me when I was a baby.
Aww.
And I guess I was probably under a year old. But we were all raised in the same house, like I said before, as my granddaddy and grandmama.
Yeah.
And that's my Uncle Sonny. And Uncle Sonny was just 11 years older than me. And he was 11 years older than me, and he just always like a big brother. But I tell you, when I started growing up, if Sonny would go hunting or anything like that, he'd take me right along with him. And I know I always loved to go with him when we'd go squirrel hunting, because we'd go into the woods, and I'm telling you, I would be afraid to move, because he always called me Peavine. That was his nickname for me, was Peavine. And he'd say, Peavine, now you can't move. I would sit there and be motionless. And sometimes my leg would even go to sleep, but I was afraid to move, because I knew if I moved, he wouldn't ever take me again.
Well, those guys are definitely a fan of their hunting.
They sure are, absolutely. But anyway, those were good days and good memories of my Uncle Sonny. Of course, he passed away probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, he was always my big brother, because
Yeah.
I didn't have a brother, so he was my big brother.
I do remember that. We'll talk about this.
Okay, this picture, I believe this is Victor, your grandfather's grandfather. That would be Mr. and Miss Hahn. And Cassius was his name, and Elizabeth was her name. But and then the other couple, I think, might have been Mr. Hahn's maybe sister and brother-in-law. So that's a real old picture.
That is.
I'm not sure what the date of that would be. Probably back in, I'd say, the 20s.
Yeah, and you can even tell the frame is old and everything.
Yeah, that's a real old picture.
Yeah.
And that was in some of Victor's mom's stuff, your grandmother's stuff, or your great-grandmother's stuff. Yeah, when she passed away and we started going through everything.
Yeah.
But those are real old photographs and stuff.
That is.
Okay, and this picture would be, I've got to think now, this would be Victor's great-great-great-great-grandfather and his great-great-grandmother. His grandfather was, way over 6 foot tall.
Dang.
In fact, I think he was maybe 6.5 foot tall, something like that.
That's crazy.
And he was German. And his wife, she was Cherokee Indian. And we've been told, I don't know if it's true or not, but on the Trail of Tears, when they went through, through this area and down through Jackson County and Lawrence County, I think she was part of that tribe when they moved through.
That's awesome.
And I know the Hans settled in the Elgin community outside of Tuckerman, and that's where they lived out there for a long, long time. But yeah, that's a good old picture of the Cherokee people. So we've got a lot of old Cherokee blood in us.
Yeah.
Okay, that picture. Okay, this picture would be of. Let's see, this would be my grandmother and grandfather, and that'd be your great-great-grandmother and grandfather, Lula Coffee and Dewey Coffee. This was probably way back in the 20s too, I imagine, because my mother was born in 1921, so that's an early picture of them. I guess when they were courting back then, probably.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably what that was. But
Courting? No one calls
courting.
it that anymore.
No.
Wedding? Is that what?
Yeah, whatever, yeah. But anyway, I love old pictures.
Oh, yeah,
Like I
definitely.
said, we've dug through so many old trunks and everything and dug all these pictures out. There's a lot of good memories there, remembering.
Yeah.
Trying to think back of the way it was when they were that young compared to the way we are these
Yeah, like they
days,
didn't have phones, and I mean, it was so much different.
No phones, no television.
Hardly even vehicles. I mean, like one or two to choose from.
Yeah, they had buggies. They rode around in horse and
Yeah.
buggies and stuff. But they had like a lot of family time back then too, because they would go to a picnic area, and especially like on Easter Sunday or holidays like that, just a big gathering of everybody.
Yeah.
Which I wish they'd do that again these days. It'd be a lot of fun.
What is that? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You want to come around here?
Yeah.
Come here.
Oh, whew, it's gone. Okay. Come here. Yeah. See what Mama says. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
What's this picture of?
Okay. This picture is of my granddaddy. This would be Dewey Coffee. Now this is really an old picture. I need to go have it restored back the way it needs to be. As you can tell, it is really, really old.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if we can even get anything out of this or not.
Oh, yeah, they can see that.
But see how old this picture is? Now, the lady in the picture with my granddaddy is not my grandmother. This would have been his first wife.
Oh, wow.
My grandmother was his second wife.
Well, you don't ever hear that really either back then, someone divorcing and
Right, yeah, they died. They died.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. She died, and she was real young when she died.
Dang.
And I don't know why she died, but anyway. But that is my granddaddy, and I think he was a handsome young man back then. Really, really handsome. Really handsome.
I'm guessing that is a drawing or a painting.
I think it is, Madison. It's different kind.
Yeah, it's like on cardboard.
Yeah, like on cardboard. Yeah,
Dang.
yeah. Yeah, I've got Jessie Dewey Coffee and first wife. And I don't even know what her name was, but it wasn't my grandmother's, so I didn't care. And I don't know why my grandmother kept that all these years
kidding.
of another woman.
I probably would not have, but...
Oh, okay, did we want to do this one?
Yes.
Okay, this is a lot of history here. It's mix and match of some of Victor's families and some of mine. Okay, this, okay.
My son is very energetic, sorry.
Okay, we've got different pictures here. This is like a photo album that's got a lot of different pictures and stuff here. Some of them, it looks like they have fell out. I don't know what happened to them. I think one of them is my baby picture. I probably was about 9 months old. As you can see, I had real dark hair back then. Now I've turned gray. But let me get this. Okay. Okay, this picture here, this is of the Coca-Cola truck. This was Victor's dad, which would be Madison's grandfather. He drove the Coca-Cola truck in Newport for years and years and years. And this picture's worth a lot of memories right here, especially the old Coca-Cola
Oh, yeah.
truck and it all with the bottles and everything on it. Okay, this picture is of my grandmother and grandfather Winston. This would be Madison's great-great-grandmother and grandfather on my dad's side. This was Nathan and Gertrude. I'd never heard Gertrude's name before, and I've
No,
never heard
that's-
that since. It was such an odd name.
Yeah.
But her name was Gertrude. Okay, this would have been Victor's mom, Reubenille, and this would have been her grandmother. This is the lady that was Cherokee Indian.
Oh, okay. Well, she definitely looks it in that
Yeah, she
picture.
does. She's got those real high cheekbones and dark complected and everything, so you
Yeah.
could really see the Cherokee in her. This picture is of Grandma Hahn, which would be your great-great-grandma, and she's in her Sunday best there. I don't know if they were going to church or what, but her being dressed up, I'm sure they were going to church
Yeah.
or some kind of a family ordeal. This is Victor's mom. This was
Oh, wow.
made probably when she was in high school, I would think.
kinda
way
looks
back
like Brandy.
then. And it does look like Brandy, yeah. The grandkids is taken back after some of the older people.
Yeah.
And I think that's neat.
Yeah, it is.
I think
definitely.
it really is.
So that is a really good picture.
Yeah. Okay, this picture, okay, this would be of Grandpa Hahn and Reubenille and Grandma Hahn. As you can see, that old tractor.
Oh, yeah.
So I imagine this was made back in the 20s too.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Grandpa Hahn was a farmer, so that's the reason that they took this
Did
picture
they
of him on the
live
farm.
in Tuckerman?
They
or
lived in
Swifton?
Grubbs.
Okay.
They lived in
yeah.
Grubbs and had a farm over there.
Huh.
And Grandpa Hahn, he farmed that, I guess, with a team of mules before he ever got a tractor. So
Yeah.
then it just older it got, the more machinery he got and everything. So that's got a lot of memories to that too. Okay, this would be your grandpa, Dick. And this old truck, I don't know, that was made probably in their yard there. I think that is so neat.
That's funny.
But then I like this picture up here too. Okay, this picture was made somewhere where they'd gone fishing. I think that's probably his dad, maybe his uncle. The whole string of fish there on one of their fishing trips that they'd always get together and go and spend
Yeah.
some time. Okay, this is Victor's mom and dad. This would be your grandmother, great-grandmother
Great.
and grandfather. That was when he was in service, and he was in U.S. Army, and he served during World War II, and he was in Germany and I think Rome, Italy, France, and
Wow,
all
yeah.
through there. So that's a good picture of them.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what we got here. I forgot. Okay, this is Grandma Hahn. This has been your daddy when he was a
Oh, wow.
baby, and
Yeah.
this was a cousin. And they were, I think, about the same age. And but anyway, that was made at Grandma Hahn's house over at Grubbs. And in this, okay, this would be Mr. and Miss Hahn. This would be your great-great-great.
That's crazy, yeah.
Would that be great-great-great?
What, was it your grandpa?
It'd be,
Or
this would be
Papa's?
Papa's grandma and grandpa. So it'd be your great-great.
Great.
Great. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be, yeah.
Very
Mr. and
great.
Miss Hahn, as you can see, they're all dressed up. I guess they were going to church or
Yeah.
going somewhere for a family outing. But that was a big deal back
Yes,
then
it
because
is.
all the families would get together and do stuff, which these days nobody has time. They're working,
No.
trying to make a living and everything. And then this is your grandpa, Victor. This is in a
Okay.
cotton patch. And he was real young there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they farmed in Grubbs and Jackson County, and he always would go out there and help them on the farm and
Yeah.
everything. So these are some great pictures. Like I said, I've lost some of them. I don't know what's happened. And this is me. This was in my junior year of school, my prom picture.
Oh, wow,
I
yeah.
had gone to the prom, but I didn't go with your granddad now, but somebody else. But anyway, I thought that was a good
Dresses
picture.
and styles have definitely changed.
They
over
really
time.
have, yeah. They
Yeah,
really
that is a
have.
pretty dress,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah.
About the Coca-Cola picture, now
Yeah.
this is when they delivered them like they used to with the milk, and set it on people's porches
I
that
think
way,
so.
isn't it?
I think you're right. Yeah, it was those old wooden crates and stuff.
Yeah, and the bottles.
Yeah, he'd go around and he'd have the orders. And I don't know if they took orders and delivered or he just had that delivery truck and he'd go around whatever they needed. I think he sold them.
Yeah, that's
Sold
awesome.
it to them at that time.
It's a lot
But,
different now, you can just buy them in stores.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
get
but
them
they
delivered.
delivered them back then.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But that's neat. But anyway, those are some old pictures.
Yeah, they are.
I've got to get another frame and get it set up better than what I've got here.
I
now
have
let's
found some
see.
pictures around here that she hasn't even seen yet, so we're going to see how good her memory is. Okay.
Oh, okay.
First one, I'm guessing this is you.
That is me. Okay, that's when we went. Okay, that is the Great Smoky Mountains. And we had gone to, I believe, the World's Fair. It was
Okay,
in
yeah.
Knoxville, Tennessee during that time. That would have probably been back in the 70s, I'd think. When we took off and we went with another couple, and they was Dale and Connie Martin went.
Oh yeah, she was my substitute teacher in art at
Yeah,
Calico.
Connie,
They ended up
yeah. So we've
moving.
known Connie
Yeah,
for years and
that's
years
awesome.
and years. Yeah, and then their son Colby, and then of course it was Papa and me and Brian and Stephen all took off in this van and went there. But we had the best time when we went to the World's Fair. That's the first time I'd ever been anything like that.
Yeah, I've never even really heard of that.
But, yeah, we toured the Great Smoky Mountains all through there, and then, like I said, to the World's Fair, and then different places all on up and down the road.
Yeah.
So that was a good trip that time.
Okay, and then this
Okay.
one.
Okay, let me see this one. Okay, I'm a thinking, since that is Brian and Stephen when they were little, I think we were on our way to Florida. My sister Laura and me and the two boys, we took off and went to Destin, Florida down there that year. And I think we stopped in Mississippi, and I think that is the welcoming center there when you
Okay.
enter into
Yeah.
Mississippi on Highway 49, I think is where that was when we went through there.
All right, here's another one. It's a big group of people. We'll see how good her memory is with this one.
Oh, okay. Let me look at this. Okay. Oh, I remember this. This is when we were in Germany. Papa was stationed in Germany, outside of Schweinfurt. And this was out there where we lived, and it was a little small farming town. That, we lived right there with the Germans. That was our landlord, was a German family. And
Wow.
we lived upstairs in an apartment that they had fixed up that they rented to the U.S. service people.
That's awesome.
And we lived there. So, yeah, this is the whole family there. There's Eltrod and her baby, Oswald and Herminia. Here's Herminia. She was the lady. And there's Oswald. He was the dad. And then this is all their kids and boyfriends and all. And I think they sent me this picture after we probably come back from Germany, because I don't remember the boyfriends, and I don't remember Eltrod having that baby when we was over there.
Yeah.
So that all come later.
Well, that's awesome.
But
I didn't
that's
know.
in Germany,
I didn't even
yeah.
know you had ever been to Germany.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, here's another one that looks like
Okay.
Dad in the picture.
Okay, here we are. Okay, now this picture, I'm trying to think. Okay, it is Dad. Yeah, and Brian when he was little. And he's probably about the size of Riley now.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of parade or something.
This was a parade, and it was over at Batesville. It's the White River Water Carnival.
Oh, okay.
And this was my dad's wagon that he had. And this is my dad's wife, and here's my mother back there with me. But anyway, and I guess Papa's the one who took the picture. I don't know. But anyway, we was getting ready to ride in that parade, and that was in Batesville.
Wow.
At the White River Carnival. Carnival. I'll get right in a minute. That was a long, long time ago.
Do you know who those people are?
Oh my gosh.
They don't look familiar to me.
Well, I don't know who they are.
I stumped her.
Well, who in the world? I don't know. Okay, this picture.
Oh, wow, it says.
Oh, well, I've even got that dated. That's a good deal. Okay, that's Grandma and Grandpa Hahn, which would be Victor's Grandma and Grandpa. And it, on the back of the picture has Christmas Day, 1975.
That's awesome.
I'm glad I dated that, because I'm the world's worst at dating stuff.
Yeah.
And then get to looking at it and think, well, what year was that? But anyway, gosh, yeah, that's years and years ago.
Yeah.
That's a good picture
Almost 50
of them.
years ago.
That is a good picture of them.
I don't even know who that is.
Is that you?
I don't know.
I
didn't
think
mean
that's you, Madison.
I didn't mean to put that one in there. Or that one.
Okay. You wanna?
Let's see. I'll pick another one.
Okay, yeah, because
I don't think I meant to grab all these.
like me, I'm trying to figure out who they are.
Do you know who these are? Or what that is?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This picture. Okay, this was made in Atlanta. Victor, Madison's grandfather, he used to work for Hired Hand Manufacturing at HH. That's what that stands for, is Hired Hand Manufacturing. And this is all the salesmen in their, what do you call it, jackets and everything.
Yeah.
Hired Hand were like red ties and everything. So they all had to wear red ties.
Okay.
They all had to have gray jackets. And then they had black pants. But anyway, that's the whole crew back the time that he worked for Hard Hand. And
Where was that at?
That would have been in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
They would always have a big poultry show down there.
Oh, okay.
And then all the different companies would buy a place where they could set up and advertise their whatever they were trying
Kind of
to
like a
sell.
market, like a...
Yeah, like a market. And they could take orders, you know, and visit with customers and everything. But that was always a big deal in there. And there's Papa right there. But that's what that is, yeah. See here?
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see him at first whenever I was looking at it. All right, let's see if we can find one more that she can explain here. Do you know who these are?
Oh, I know who these are. Okay. These are Victor's mom and dad. This would be your grandmother and grandfather. Yeah. Yeah, this was probably made over at Grubbs because that's where they lived when Victor and I got married. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I scoot that over? Yeah.
That looks like Papa.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Papa and Mama D. And that car, we had that car. And seemed like we bought a pickup or something. I don't know. But they wanted to buy that car. So Victor sold that car to them. And they drove it and drove it and drove it. Then Victor's dad passed away. Then his mother decided she was going to drive it. And she's the one that drove the car through the...
We talked in the last video about how you would know when you don't need to drive anymore.
That's right.
And that was the car that she ran through the hardware store.
Jumped the curb. Instead of hitting her brakes, she hit the accelerator and jumped the curb, went right through the hardware store in that car. And after that, she said, well, I'm not going to drive anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't.
So we got the car and we brought it back to our house. And then I think he eventually sold it or done something with it. But anyway, yeah, she made a bad boo-boo that day.
Yeah. Well, as y'all can tell, your memory is very good.
Thank you.
A lot of these pictures I just kind of picked out and handed her, and so she had no idea that she was going to be having to tell about them. So she definitely did good in that area. We are going to call it good for this video, and we will be back in a week to do the 4th video and final interview. So we're going to cut it off for now.